Hey everyone, I know it's been quite a while since I came to you with an interview on YouTube. I had a little hiatus, but now I'm back. And with me today is Tina Take My Photo. And I'm going to let Tina share who she is and what she does. But before we start that, again, I want to remind you who I am. I'm Anitra Bird, personal wardrobe stylist and image consultant, and I work with women to help them with their brand, to make them feel alive in their clothes, something that really pairs with who they are, the message they're trying to convey to the world, and just to make them feel beautiful. And Tina is one of those women who I actually work with. I have a great working relationship with her, and we've become friends as well. I really value our friendship and our working relationship, and she's just doing amazing things, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to interview her so that she can share all the amazing things that she's doing.
Yes.
But again, I want to start with who you are,
Okay.
some of your background,
Yeah.
and then you can segue into what you're doing now.
Okay, well thank you for all of that. Very sweet. So I think this is actually technically my first interview ever.
Really?
So yeah, I don't do interviews, so yes.
Wow.
So I'm Tina Thomas. I am owner and photographer with Tina Take My Photo, and I specialize in commercial and personal branding and headshot photography. I love to work with entrepreneurs. I love to work with small businesses. Basically, my whole goal for you is to give you good photos, create photos that are really purposeful. Like, your photos will be pretty, but we're not just taking pretty photos. Like, we're taking photos that have meaning, that help you in your marketing, that help with your branding. Lately I keep talking about AI because it's like, with AI, like, we don't trust anything or anybody anymore. So one of the best ways that you can combat AI is by building up your personal brand with photos, so you can actually show yourself, your people, yourself at work. So that's really important, and I love the personal connection of really helping people kind of dive into, who they really are, who they really care about, and it's more than just, let me just take a random headshot. Like, you gotta pull out that personality and really, the same with styling, like, you really just want to personalize it to them. So we work really hard at that, and yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, good. Well, you do wonderful work. You really do.
Thank
She does
you.
amazing work. But she did not start off in this realm, in this space. Kind of.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But I want you to talk about that, where you were previously.
Yeah. So it's funny because when I was little, I would always be like, I'm gonna grow up and be an artist or a photographer. But then when it came to going to college, I was like, I don't want to go to college for photography because I felt like, not that I knew it all, but I didn't want to spend all that money on a photography degree. So I ended up going into video and animation at VCU, which was super fun. And from that, I went into local television. And so I started on that 3 a.m. shift where I had to be there at 3 a.m. and I edited the morning news, which is that my thought was this is my foot in the door to go work in movies and move to LA or whatever, but didn't happen, but that's okay. But yeah, so I edited the morning news for a little over a year. I slept like a vampire from 9 to 5 when everybody else was out in the world. And then I discovered the marketing department in the news. And the marketing and commercial production department, they were doing this really cool stuff with more creative video, and I was like, oh, this is where I need to be. And so I started working with them to do commercial production, and then I joined the marketing department, and so I did so much stuff there. So it's hard to list it all out, but basically anything that was promoting the TV station image, brands, video. I ended up doing all the anchor headshots, which is what kind of started me into that type of photography, because it's funny, when I was little and wanted to do photos, I was I would never photograph people. Because I didn't know how to do it, I didn't want to do it, it was really intimidating, and now it's I love it. I love photographing people. I love, to help people find photos that they like, because people come to me and they're like, can you fix me? Can you help me? Someone took a terrible photo and I need you. So I'm like, I got you. But yeah, so I worked for 14 years in local news, which not to go too much into like local news, but breaking news, breaking weather. In marketing, you had to like be there and shoot the promo for it. So it was like up and down and like crazy schedules and all that stuff, which was great when I was like 25. But then once I had my son, I was like, I don't know how much longer we're gonna do this. And so in the background of all of that, like the whole time I was doing weddings and families and senior portraits, just to kind of have a more creative outlet and supplement income, because that's something I needed in TV. And then, yeah, from that it kind of came to that time where I was like, I can't do all three, so I need to drop something. And so my husband and I are big planners, so like I saved up a year's salary, we like went over all the numbers, all the things, like can we make this happen? We figured out that we could. And then my son was 2, and then I put in like a 3 months notice, because we had a very small department, and I was like, I don't want to just like leave them hanging. So since I'm nice and care about people, which is why I was there for so long, I was like, I don't want to leave them, because yeah, I loved everybody that was there, and I do miss that aspect, like that teamwork aspect. That was really great. But yeah, so put in that 3-month notice, and then I quit, and it was 1 week before COVID shutdown happened. So that was fun. So yeah, I was like immediately shut down, daycare closed, like I just became like a stay-at-home mom, and I was like panicking. And so through that, I just did whatever I could do to like make money. So I did a lot of like behind the scenes computer like design and like web ads and like stuff for like all kinds of companies that needed help. And it's funny that the station actually hired me a bunch to like help them with graphics and they paid me more than they paid me when I was there.
How about that?
I know, it's funny how that works. But yeah, then let's see, I'll tell my whole life story. So I met Gather co-working spaces, which as a co-working space who was kind of new in the area, like they were struggling because COVID, people didn't want to come in. And so they were coming up with ways to like have some member perks and, you know, what can we do to have some things that are appealing to people. And so someone that I used to work with at 12 was one of their community managers. And so she was like, I think they had like thrown around the idea of like, maybe we should do headshots for members. And she was like, I know someone. And so I could not have said yes fast enough. I was like, yes, yes, yes. Because that was a good way to like start networking, start building up a portfolio. Because I knew I wanted to like focus and niche down on branding and headshots specifically, because one, I wanted my weekends back. I did not want to do weddings. It wasn't going to happen.
That's a whole other beast.
And with family photography, like I love it, but like there's a family photographer like on every block. It's just very oversaturated. And you know, being in marketing and branding for 14 years, like I had that information, like I knew how to really pull that out of photographs, which a lot of people don't have. So it's like my secret sauce. So I was like, we're gonna niche down into this. And then we still do the free headshot day every month at Gather. And it's a great referral partner. And so that was kind of the jumping off point of like starting to get into specifically branding. And here we are. That was 4 years ago, actually last week, which is crazy. So yeah, also, yeah.
And I think we met, when did we meet? Was it 2021, 2022?
I think it was the end of 2021, right? Because it was like,
I mean, I know
it was around the same time I started doing Gather, which was like September of 2021. Because our first mini sessions we did was that fall, right? I know.
Yeah. It's like, when was that?
I know, it's just all a blur.
Like 3-4 years ago? I can't believe that. And which Gathers do you do the headshots at? You know, so people may want that information.
Yeah, in Richmond there's 4 Gather locations. There's one in Short Pump, Downtown Arts District, Scott's Addition, and Midlothian. And so yeah, they're just these really great co-working spaces where you can rent out as a business or as an individual, and they have a really great atmosphere there and community, and yeah, they're good people.
And how often do you do the headshots? They're for members, correct?
Yeah, so we do free headshots for members once a month, and we cycle through locations, and it's first come, first serve, 8 people. Because they fill up like especially like in Midlothian, it's like they send out that list, it's full by the end of the day. So, because it's a good perk. Yeah.
And that is a good
It's
perk.
like it's a $350 value. So they're getting.
And I did see it recently where I think you have your name on the door, right? Which location is that?
That's Midlothian.
Midlothian.
So yeah, part of it is it's I guess it's okay to say it's a trade. So yeah, they trade. I get an office, they get headshots, and so it's a tiny office, but it has a really big window and it has my name on the door, which is cool. So yeah, it's a good place to kind of go and like write and clear my thoughts when I just need to get out of the house. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell the audience one of the great things that you love about being a branding photographer.
Let's see.
It doesn't have to be one. If
There's
it's
a
more
lot
than
of
one,
things I
then,
love.
you know.
I think one thing that is fun is that, like, you know, with families or weddings, you kind of know what you're getting into. It's all different, but it's all kind of the same. With branding, like, I never know what kind of client I'm gonna get. I've done all kinds of just like random, interesting things. Like I followed a tree company around one day, all day on like their jobs, like took photos of people climbing up in trees and like hanging from wires, and like, so it's just the diversity in it, I think is super fun, and it, you know, it keeps you creative, it keeps you thinking of new ideas, and so you're not just doing the same thing over and over again, which is kind of what I was doing in TV. So yeah, it feeds that like creative urge that I have, so it's exciting to have a new challenge come up all the time.
That's what I say. It's, you know, because it can be monotonous with certain things. Like you mentioned at the radio station, it's like, here's the schedule, this is what's going to happen at, I don't know, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You know,
everything's timed like to the second. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just to have that, like you said, creative outlet.
Yeah.
You never know. It's like, oh, I can imagine that was exciting to photograph that, someone in the tree.
Yeah, they had like this crane that like lifted up a guy and like flew him through the sky to put him in the top of a tree. I was like, this is next level. Yeah, we got some cool stuff.
Now, how did you shoot that? Now, I mean, of course, you're a photographer. You have different lenses and settings that you have. So
I was on the ground the whole time, so I was zooming in, switching the lenses out. The only time they've had me, I did one for a towing company too, and they wanted a shot of like all of their trucks like lined up. They have like, I don't know, 15 like big trucks. Yeah. And so they put me on, what do you call that lift thing? Not a forklift, but like a scissor lift type of platform. I don't know what it was, but they were like, will you get up there? I was like, okay. So that's kind of fun. Yeah.
How high up did you go?
I don't know, as tall as the building was. But I don't know, but it was okay. We were safe.
Right. You felt protected.
We were safe.
You felt protected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, because when you are a creative, you're in that space, you're an artist, you have to have that outlet, and you have to be able to create, and not for it to be, again, so monotonous.
Right.
You know? So when you're doing that, do you have a certain segment who you work with, your target audience, or is it a little more broad?
It's funny because like I know target audience is so important, so I'm always kind of trying to like, what is my target audience? But I think my target audience is less of like a specific type of person, I guess, in like a job, and more of a specific type of person in like what they want for their business, and you know, kind of the understanding that they have of, like, I want people who understand that photos are important, who want to stand out online, who want to do something different, who want to work with somebody that they can collaborate with to like come up with creative ideas. And yeah, so it's a lot of, I guess the target is people that are somewhat established, but also people that are kind of new and have a pretty good understanding of like who they are, who their brand is, and they really just want to work with somebody that can like bring it to life. I hear that a lot, like help me bring it to life. And so yeah, people that want to be brought to life, that's kind of my target. And then yeah, I work with a lot of small businesses too, who are just people that are tired of using stock photos. Like literally, like I can't tell you how many times I see like that same stock photo of like someone typing or whatever, because people just grab it and throw it on and they're like whatever. Yeah. So I think people are, you know, when you go to someone's website and you're finding them on Google or whatever, and it's just all stock, you're like, who are they? Like, do I trust them? Yeah. Their about page doesn't even have them on it. So I'm like, you guys gotta fix this. So we'll fix that. We'll like show like their actual team, their actual offices. It just makes such a big difference. And like, you know, they're like, oh, that's who I'm gonna work with, that's where I'm gonna go. So yeah, I think that's so important to like show people yourself, not just a pretty background or whatever, you know.
No, I agree with that. They have to, like you said, if they go to your website or if they're doing a Google search on you, or whatever type of search on you,
Yeah.
they need to see who they may do business with.
Right. Yeah.
Not something generic. It's like, oh, well, I didn't have any images. I couldn't find a lot of images
Yeah.
of you or your business.
Yeah.
So it's important to have that.
Also, it shows that like you put time and thought into investing in yourself, which psychologically makes them think they're going to put more time and thought into investing in you as a client, you know? So, yeah.
People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And
Exactly.
they have a need for something. So if it's not out there, you're kind of getting lost in the sauce.
Oh yeah,
Right.
lost in that shop. It's like no matter what industry it is, it's like overly competitive.
Yeah.
You can't escape it. So
Right.
this helps. So I need to help.
The best representation of who you are, what your brand is, what you're trying to convey again to the world, because you know people are going to make those judgments. So
Oh yeah.
it wants to fall in line with who you really are. They're going to make the judgments anyway.
Yeah.
But once you have that branding session, it's it can really speak to who you are too,
Yeah.
not just your business,
Right.
but who
Yeah.
you are too, because people want to know who you are. You may not like that sometimes. It's like, well, I don't want everyone to know everything about me, but you have to incorporate some of you in there as well.
Yeah.
Because they want to feel like they can connect with you.
Right. That's where the personal part of personal branding comes in, right? Is the connection. I'm not gonna get the quote right, but I had seen something recently where it was like the only like fail-safe way a CEO can like succeed in marketing is building a personal brand, because like you can lose all the other things. So like if you build that strong brand, like you're not gonna lose that personal brand, that connection that you build with people. And I thought, yeah, that's what it's all about.
I mean, it's so true. And for me, and I'm sure for you, you can feel like when someone is not authentic.
Oh yeah. Yes.
It's a turn
And
off.
people, I know, people are like, hashtag authentic, and I'm like, no, no, you're not.
Especially if you know that person. It's like, really? You actually
Yeah.
had the audacity to put that.
I know, yeah. I think people can like, especially we're always looking at people online, so it's like we can sniff out inauthenticity so much better than we ever could before. So it's like, even if you don't know why, you just like have a feeling, you're like, I don't know about this, so.
My
you
gut
know,
is saying,
you trust the gut, yeah.
No, you always should
Yeah.
trust the gut,
Right.
because it doesn't steer you wrong.
Yeah.
You know, later on you're like, oh, I should have listened to my gut. Yeah, you should have. So, let's talk about balancing home and career,
Okay,
because you are married.
right.
You have, how old is your son?
He's 6.
6-year-old.
One 6-year-old,
Yeah.
and a husband, and a cat. Yeah, so, I mean, I think the like end all be all of all of this was that I needed like better work-life balance, because like I did not have it before. It was like, I can't even like say it. I was always like on call, I was always there, I was always on my mind, and so I was just like, I've got to get out of this cycle. Like I need to, not miss my son growing up, and even though he's in daycare and he's in school, I remember so the first time that I was able to go on a field trip with him in I guess kindergarten last year, like I just like taking a moment to be like, I can go on this field trip without having to get permission, without having to get like a disapproving look, like, oh, you can't take off a day because whatever. Just the fact that like it was like okay to do it. Like I cried that morning
I bet.
because I was so emotional. I was like, I am actually in a place that I never thought I would be in, where like I can just do whatever I want.
Right.
And so I think, at the end of the day, at the end of your life, it's like you want to be able to live your life and spend it with the people that matter, and like, what do they say? Like you never say you wish that you worked more, right? Like, so yeah. So I just, So I mean, it's still hard. So owning your own business, you got to do all the back end things that you're always still trying to figure out to do. So it's a lot. Like, it's not easy. It's not for everybody. You really have to have like gusto and passion, and you have to commit, right? But yeah, just so I try to like, it's funny, I schedule in like every week. I'm like, on Friday, I'm like, stop work at 2:30. I never do it, but it's there. The option,
It's on the calendar.
The option's there. It's on the calendar. But I mean, there are the days where I'm working until later. I'm working overnight or whatever. But yeah, for the most part, just being able to say no to things and say yes to things you want is just huge. Like you can't beat that. So yeah, that means so much for me to just be able to, you know, be home and cook dinner and pick him up early if I want to, and just these very simple things that just weren't a possibility in my life before. Yeah, it's so important.
It really is. And what about with your marriage? How do you try to balance being an entrepreneur, having your son? How do you just balance all of that and your marriage?
Yeah, I like to plan. Well, one of the things too about being able to take off time, we like to do a couple times a year at least, like just like a family little weekend getaway or whatever, where we can take off like Friday and just, you know, spend time together. And we make sure on weekend, because it's funny, my husband does work kind of long hours, but he works from home. So, and I work from home, so it's that whole like, we're at home together all day, but like we're not together, but we still feel like we're like sick of seeing each other. But so yeah, just kind of weekends are always like a time to just, you know, don't think about work, come together and just, you know, just be together. And I think that's important. And also just because we are at home, it's like, you know, being able to like, you know, wash some dishes at like 2 p.m. or whatever, and that's huge. So yeah, that helps, because at the end of the day, we're not really bickering over who needs to do what, because we've been able to help each other out throughout the day. So, you know, that's a big blessing, because he worked for a company that never thought they could work from home. They were like, we cannot do this, we cannot make this work, and they're still working from home. And
that's a blessing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think, yeah, for some people, he's a big extrovert. I'm an introvert, so he misses.
He is. I met him, and he really is.
He misses like being around people. Like he's on the phone all day, but still, it's like I think you know. People
he needs that energy to really drive him. You know.
So he'll go into the office here and there, but he needs to be around people. Yeah, and I feel bad because I feel like I get to be around people a lot more than he does these days, and so I think he's a little jealous, but.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you guys are a really good team.
Yeah, teamwork, that's important.
Yeah. For a life partner, you have to have that teamwork.
Right.
So that things get done, especially when you have the little ones.
Right.
Because, you know, he's probably having, you know, you have to take him to school, you have, like you said, the trips for him, the class trips, and other things he's into, different hobbies. So you have to have someone who's really going to be there. Yeah. Especially if you can't be there.
Yeah. So and we have him in private school, which we never thought would happen. That's another thing that, because I'm now working for myself, I guess I literally doubled my income last year from the highest income I had there, which is like, never thought I'd see the day. So yeah, that's just, so yeah, we're doing private school, and so we do, the bad thing about private school is you have to drop off and pick up every day. You can't do a bus, which is another benefit for him being at home, is that we like switch off, which is amazing, because when he used to have to work way downtown and he had to be there super early, and so for like the first 2 years of my son's life, I did pick up and drop off and worked, and it was crazy. So those days are over, thank God.
Yeah, what a blessing.
I know.
So talk to me about the pros, and then maybe some of the cons, if you want to, the pros of having your own business. I mean, we've touched on
we touched on like the big ones.
We touched on them, but talk to me about more and versus being in corporate, if you will.
Yeah. So let's see, we touched on financial freedom, literal freedom. You know, being your own boss it's a challenge, but it's such a blessing, like being able to be like the last say in like how you run things. I mean, that's a huge pro. And just being able to like do the creative work you want to do, being able to choose who you want to work with, being able to say yes and no, learning how to say no was like a really big factor. That was really, I'm such a people pleaser. I think it wasn't until maybe 2 years ago that I realized, I can say no to this person that doesn't want to pay me enough, and that's okay. So being able to make those decisions. I feel like there's so many pros, but I can't think of any really good ones. Besides, I mean, it's all just, all works together. Cons are obviously like figuring out all your taxes, and I mean, I had people to do it, but all that stuff, all the business side, there's just so much, because you are sales, you are marketing, you are production, you are whatever else, or you're everything. So some days that just feels like a lot. you know, it is a lot. But, you know, you just try to do a little bit at a time, one day at a time, and, you know, focus on the things that matter. Yeah.
That's all you can do. You can't, I mean, if you think about everything that has to get done, you really stress yourself out. And, you know, that's not good for your health.
I know.
That's not good for your family.
I'll have those days where it's like it all just piles up in my head, and I'm just like, you feel so panicked about so much that you have to do, like, you just don't do any of it.
Right, you have your checklist, and it's like...
So then I just do some other random, like, that's when I'll make, like, some random reel for fun or whatever. I'm like, I can't even look at this, let me just do this. And, you know, sometimes that's helpful just to kind of, like, refresh your brain. But, yeah, it's a lot.
And you do, and then you have your goals. You have your goals that you set for yourself, part of your business plan. You think, okay, this is what I have to do, and this is how I'm going to actually get to that place and check off that goal. But then in the back of your mind, you think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to reach out to this person, that person, because you know collaboration is important.
Right.
When you're a small business owner, you can't do it alone, so you have to bring people in. So you're thinking, I have to do this, and then you have to map out everything as well. So then, you know, that can be stressful too. When you think about it. But then in the end, you're like, oh, it paid off. You know, it really did. And people don't see everything that goes into everything, the behind the scenes. They just see the end product. So it's like, oh, but you didn't see the blood and the sweat and the tears and everything that went into it.
I know. It's like the whole like social media, you know, trap you get fallen into. It's like you're only seeing the highlights.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta remind yourself, like, this is not their life every day.
No,
don't feel bad about yourself. Don't compare yourself. So, yeah, that's a big.
Oh, what is that saying? That's, gosh, what is the saying about comparison? How it really pretty much kills things and kills your spirit if you compare yourself to other people. I mean, you know,
there's something about creating comparison kills something about creating something.
Right. It really does.
It
and
does,
I tell everyone, social media is not real. Because some people, they will have, maybe they have a Bentley or Maybach or something. It's like, that's not theirs. I mean, I know. Maybe they know someone. They're like, let me take a picture in front of this.
Right.
Or they're on a private jet. You can Photoshop that too.
I know.
But then, you know, people get influenced by that. They're like, oh, I want that. I'm like, that's not real.
It's easy to fall into that hole of just like feeling bad for yourself. But
if you look at, if you're continuously scrolling on social media, I see why people take a break from it.
Right. Yeah. That's good to do for your mental health.
Oh yeah, you have to have that. So talk about that. Let's talk about that. Okay. Mental health. And we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
What do you do for self-care?
I know I'm bad about self-care, but no, like little things for me make a big difference. Like getting like sun on my face and fresh air, which is so simple. Just go outside. That just can completely like reset and refresh. So sometimes like this morning I did it, and it was a little chilly out, but the sun was like coming in nicely on my porch. So I like sat out there with my coffee, went over like what we were doing today. It's Monday, right?
It is Monday.
It's Monday. It already feels like Tuesday.
And we did a promo today.
We did a promo. But yeah, just kind of, there's, they say that there's something about like morning sun, like soaking up morning sun, that helps you sleep better, helps you have a better day. So I think that's just such a simple tip that like you don't think about doing a lot. But yeah, anytime I do it, it really just helps me reset. You know, it's the same as people doing meditation or whatever. I think, I'm a bad morning person. I'm bad. Everyone in my house is a bad morning person. Like none of it's great because like my son will sleep until we wake him up, which is crazy. Nobody says that about their kid. But yeah, so like he sleeps, I sleep, my husband, no one wants to wake up. So it's like we're all like, oh, we like wake up at the very last second. We have to get ready and go out the door. So I'll like drop him off, and then I'll take my like 15 minutes to like get it together. And then yeah, if I'm super overwhelmed during the day too, sometimes I'll just be like, let me just go outside and like take a walk on the block, and then I'll be back, and then I'm good. But yeah, water and sunshine, those are my secrets. I drink so much water during the day, but yeah,
Good.
Hydrate.
Hydration is good. Did you get a massage in? I know you got one in.
I know. I don't know why I don't do it more, because as a photographer, it's like everything here and here. it always hurts. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, I was like kind of raised to like not spend money on like luxury things. And so, you know, a massage or whatever, it's kind of a luxury thing, but it's also kind of a necessary, self-love. Yeah,
so like you say, you're a photographer, you have the equipment, your feet.
Right.
So you need that massage to get the kinks out, the knots out.
And just feel better. And so I'm finally like, you know, it took me like 38 years to get to a point where I'm like, I can spend some money on myself and feel a little bit better. And I'm learning. Yeah.
You know, childhood, it's how you're raised, you know, that's taken into adulthood.
Oh yeah.
So you have to relearn some things. And that sounds like that's one of the things that you have to relearn. Yeah. But it's okay.
Yeah.
And it really is okay.
The way we learn about money as kids is like a whole nother discussion.
That's another discussion that we won't get into. Because that can go on and on and on.
Oh yeah.
Well, tell me and tell the audience how you are different from other branding photographers.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you've done research on other, you know, photographers as well.
And there's only like a small-ish amount, I think, of like, I don't want to say high-end branding photographers, but I guess branding photographers in town that, you know, have been doing it for a while. And obviously, you know, my background in branding and marketing is like my big edge. But yeah, I think not just that I was in branding, but the things that I learned coming from a journalism news world, I just think have translated so well into like life lessons and business lessons. Like we talked about how everything was timed out before, like time management. Like we would have to shoot, you know, like 3 to 5 promo, more than that. Like it's like you have to write it, shoot it, edit it, put it into the system, or it's not going to air. It's going to air in black, and you don't want it to air in black, you get in trouble. So it's like that time management, that like thinking on your toes, being creative, working with news anchors. They're like, I love them. They're like a special breed of people. It's like they're big personalities. So, you know, I feel like after years of working with such big personalities, like you just kind of develop kind of like a way about yourself of just connecting with people, helping people, dealing with people. I don't want to say dealing with. That's a better word for dealing with. I've just worked with a lot of interesting, diverse people. I love to work with interesting, diverse people. So that's important. And then what else was I going to say about the time management? And I had another good thought and I just lost it. I think so. People will be on a shoot and like they're all scattered because they feel like maybe like they're late or things aren't going right, and they like get a little frazzled and they're like, "How are you so calm?" And I'm like, what I have had to deal with in like breaking news like situations and like crazy and weddings too. Like you deal with a lot. And so I was doing I was doing weddings and news at the same time, and so I'm like, it takes a lot to phase me. So I think I pride myself on being able to be like, you're fine, like we got it, don't worry, we're gonna like get it back together, like everything's good. So I think a lot of just keeping a very calm, like it's not a big deal. People are always, you know, at the end they're like, oh, that was easy, that wasn't such a big deal. Like I'm like, it's not a big deal. Like it is, but it's not, you know.
Yeah, you have to stay calm so they won't freak out.
Right. Yeah, and then there's, you know, especially, and you know, we were all new at some point, but a lot of newer photographers, you know, it's like they're fidgeting with settings or they're like stressed out and it gets overwhelming, and so, you know, it just comes with experience. I don't get nervous anymore, I don't get overwhelmed, like I'm just like, I could have like this 4-hour shoot coming up and like I've prepped for it like, you know, a week or 2 ago, so it's like, I almost forget, I'm like, oh yeah, that big thing's tomorrow, and like, you know, it's fine, like I show up, I'm ready to go, it's fine. And, you know, even like, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, this is coming up, I'm so nervous. But yeah, it's just not nervous.
That's good.
It's all good, yeah.
You had that. And I mentioned that we did a promo earlier. So she had the script, which was great. And we played off of one another.
Yeah.
So I could see that, you know, the background that you had with the news.
Right.
Having to have that script and everything just laid out.
Yeah.
So that still carries over too.
Yeah, having to, I used to have to write scripts and time out and all that stuff. And, you know, even when we're just doing photos, it's like the scripting of like the photo shoot, right? So it's like, you know, you plan it. My big thing is like we're planning every minute of this thing. Like we know we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this and you're gonna wear this and then you tell them you're gonna wear this.
Right.
And, yeah, and so it's just, it's very organized, it's very coordinated, it's planned out very well. There's no like, we show up and we're like, what are we doing? We know what we're doing. So I think that's a big advantage. We know what we're doing. We put time into
And the client really appreciates that.
Right.
They were like, okay, you are invested in this as
Yeah.
well. So I chose wisely.
Right, yeah.
Because here's everything mapped out for me.
Yeah,
I
we're
just
taking
have
care
to
of it. You just show up. Yeah.
I just have to show up.
You show
and
up.
take direction too, because you're like, oh, we'll close this way, and you know,
Yeah.
everything else is taken care of. So
Right.
that's when that trust comes in more too. Especially if they've never worked with you before.
Right,
It's
yeah.
like, okay, well, I've never worked with her. I've heard great things.
Yeah.
But then you have everything organized, like you said, coordinated, mapped out.
Yeah.
And in their mind, they're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I like this. I feel safe.
Right. We want people to feel
You know,
safe
we
and
want people to
comfortable
feel
because
safe, yeah.
being in front of a camera is it's nerve wracking. It's like an intimate thing. Like I'm looking at their pores and they're freaking out, you know. So you know you want to make them feel like they can trust you and feel comfortable. And there's a lot of touch points along the whole process too,
Yeah.
which people don't see that part. It's like you're not just signing up and then like I don't see you until the shoot day. Like there's a lot of communication. I think it's like an over communication, but it's like over communicating is like just enough communication.
Right.
You know, so they need to make, I want to make sure they know exactly what to expect, exactly what's going to happen. And, you know, the more you know, the more
Yeah.
comfortable you are.
The
like,
less you freak out,
over-communicate.
even though it's
Right.
always a level of anxiety with it.
Yeah.
That's just natural and how it goes. But they're not totally freaking out.
Yeah.
Because they're along the journey. It's like, okay, well, this is what you're gonna do, and they appreciate again reaching out. You know, you follow up with them. It's like, okay, well, this
Yeah.
is what's gonna happen. I chat with them
Yeah.
as well. It's like, this is what's gonna happen. This is what you're gonna wear. And I don't have to stress about that.
Yeah,
So,
that's a big stressor.
yeah. Oh yeah, they're more at ease.
Yeah.
Which is important.
Yeah. Just feeling like they have people there that are caring for them is really important. Yeah. Like you're not alone in this. We got you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a team effort.
It is.
You know, we're in it together. And that's what I like. That's one of the things I like about you and working with you too. That,
Yeah.
you know, it's a team effort. And it's not like, even though it's Tina, take my photo, you don't come in, you know, cocky or arrogant. It's
Yeah.
like, this is my thing.
Right.
You don't do that.
Yes.
We're collaborating.
That's important.
Yeah.
I cannot stand it when someone thinks they own the place. Like,
Yeah.
no, collaboration is key no matter what position you're in. You know, good managers are good collaborators.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure you learned some of that too with, you know, past experiences,
Yeah.
past working experiences as well, that you have to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
that helps to solidify things too, and that makes other people want to work with you more when you do that.
Yeah. And I was thinking about every time we work together, it's like we've done it so many times. It's like we almost don't even need to talk. Like there's just like this dance going on
Right.
where it's like you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. Like it just flows.
Yeah,
And that's so great for the client because like
That is.
there's
And-
no nonsense going on over here where we're like, you know,
Yeah,
you've
where
been on a
we're
set
like-
where someone's bickering or
it's
something.
like
I'm like, no.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a very comfortable environment.
Yeah, it's good when it flows like that. It's,
Yeah.
you know, you have that synergy.
Yeah.
And that's what I pride myself on when I'm working with people. It's like, are we connecting? Is it flowing? Does it seem natural?
Right.
Or is it a pull, push and pull kind of thing?
Yeah.
So,
And sometimes that happens, but you know, you
Yeah.
just do the best you can do to
yeah.
stay positive and do your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's too much, I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is it this way?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be too much of that. Like
Yeah.
I said, sometimes you have little instances, you may have a disagreement or whatever.
Yeah.
But if it's too much of a struggle,
Yeah, and that's why phone consultations are so important.
Yeah.
So if someone's going to do like a big branding session with me, like we're getting on the phone before you sign anything to make sure that like we're a good fit for each other, that like I can do what you need and that you're a right fit for me too, because I don't know that I maybe had like one where I was like, this is not going to work because we were just on so like the levels we were on were just so different. They wanted to like control everything and didn't want me to have any input. You know, it's just.
It's like, why are you?
I'm like, what's the?
Why
Why are you calling me?
What's the
like,
point?
I'm here to help you. And they're like, I don't need help. I was like, okay, then I
well,
won't help you.
just use
But
your
yeah,
phone.
it's just you know. And also sometimes maybe I'm not the right fit for them just because maybe they don't need what I'm offering yet. So like I'll point them elsewhere. Like I'm here to help. Like I'm not, you know, I'm not like you called me, you have to work with me. So
No.
you know, I like to also have other options for people if they need another option. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to work with everyone.
Right.
I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Mhm.
You know, it's okay to say, well, no, I don't think I can serve you. So
Yeah.
maybe someone else can best
Yeah.
serve you.
Yeah. And I've actually had some really great clients who, when we initially talked, like they just weren't really ready for it yet. Like they knew they wanted it, they weren't ready. They came back like a year later, and we had like an amazing experience together. So you know, not everybody's ready, and so talking it out. Everyone's like, let's talk it out, and let's see where you are, and then this is what you need, or this is not what you need yet, and maybe you will someday soon.
Yeah. I love that discovery consultation because, again, you do get to see if it's a good fit, if it's the right time. Because sometimes it's not the right time.
Yeah. Because if you're gonna invest like all this time and all this
Yeah.
money into getting these photos, like you need to make sure that you're ready for it. Some people do it a little too soon and it's not quite right.
Yeah.
And then you want it to be purposeful. That's the word I'm always purposeful. We need purpose.
We do.
Yeah.
We really, really do. All great points. So tell me, because we're already it's just flowing, right?
I know, I was so
Well, I
nervous.
know. She was nervous. She's like, okay, where's the script? What are we going to talk about? I was like, it just flows.
I know.
You
Yeah,
know.
I come from that like scripted world. I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. Yeah.
Right. So, with your photography and just loving most aspects of it and working with different clientele, is there anything else that you would want the audience to know about you, your business, and even talk about some of your goals, where you want to take the business as well?
Yeah, it's funny because goals are kind of hard for me to set, like big goals, because sometimes people love to ask like, what's your end goal, what's your big vision for the future? And I think because like I never actually thought I would be running my own business. It was always in my head, and I was like, that is never gonna happen. And so the fact that it's happening and it's working and it's successful, like that's a goal. That is, I've already met like this huge goal of like, and I think sometimes people get hung up on like, what is this next big step? And you don't always have to have a next big step, right? Like you can just sail and be happy for a while. And then I always think things just like evolve naturally as they evolve. So I'm like, we'll see what's gonna happen this year. We'll see, you know, who I might collaborate with, who I might meet, what things might come. Like I think I'm just really happy right now being in a place where I finally have that balance I like. I'm working with great clients, I'm doing great things, I can say yes and I can say no. So I think I'm just kind of enjoying being in the space I'm in right now, and just wanting to continue helping people get great photos and working with some interesting businesses and entrepreneurs and people like you. And so there's no big like thing coming up. It's just I'm happy to be here.
It's flowing.
Yeah, it's flowing nicely right now. And then
if
we'll
it
see.
flows,
We'll see.
it's like it's meant to be when it flows.
Yeah.
If it's too much resistance,
Right.
no.
So yeah.
And you didn't talk about videography.
Oh yeah.
You didn't touch on
I
that.
did not touch on that.
She does videography.
I know. It's so funny because like my degree is in video. My main job was in video for 14 years. I've started doing a little bit more branding video. So I want to continue doing more of it because people want to watch video. Like you can't get around it. You got to be on video. You got to be on Reels. You got to be on video. And so I'm starting to kind of shoot very easy, simple, like I guess I would call them like branding portrait videos or branding introductory videos, where people can talk about themselves, talk about their business. It's essentially like taking a branding photo shoot and just translating it into video. Like all the things we talk about, just say the things. Say the things and we'll get you like looking good on camera, and then we'll get behind the scenes of you doing whatever you want to do. It's really great to kind of do them together, like branding shoot just do the branding video during the branding shoot.
Yeah.
I have been shooting a lot of custom stock videos. We did that at mini. I think that's going to be in mini sessions, regardless of if they want it or not, because you need it. It's just, we'll just shoot some, video of you, video of whatever you're doing, and you can use that everywhere. Backgrounds of your reels, like on your website. People want to see that video, so I think as it's becoming, just more and more prevalent and more important, and again with AI, show your real self on the camera. I know
that's another topic.
It's a whole another topic, but it's here and it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get harder to decipher. So we're out here fighting, fighting the AI with branding. Show your face, let them hear your voice.
When I talk about AI sometimes, I'm like, you know what? We're going to be iRobot.
I know.
Did you see the movie?
I know I did. Yeah. I know.
I got a video this morning from someone about AI. Anyway, so Tina does video as well.
Video.
She does, and she does a great video. I mean, the way she edited things, I'm like, oh, okay. Wish I could do that. But I'm like, it's easy for you.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing it for a long time. Yeah. But for someone like me, I'd be like, okay, this is going to take a while. So let me just clear my schedule. It's going to take a minute.
It's a lot. And people are out here making videos. They don't know. You have to be forced into like creating and editing. You don't know what you're doing. Like people don't,
I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I do a reel. I do the reels because they're popular.
Yeah.
But,
But I'm like, editing was like so easy for me. I could take like this long thing and just like, shh, and I'm like, it's done. And then other people are like, what? How did you? I'm like, I'll help you. It's fine. Yeah. It's hard to, have to do all these things that are just not in your wheelhouse, and we all have to learn it. So
that's definitely not in my wheelhouse.
It's not in most people's, but they're faking it till they're making it, I guess, right?
I don't want to do that. I don't want it to be in my wheelhouse.
I know.
Honestly, I don't. Like, it's people for that.
Right. Yeah.
People like you.
Yeah.
So do you find that once you let clients know that that's an offering, that they jump on it? Or are they more hesitant?
It's funny because they all, like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's great, I need that. And then they're like, but I don't know if I can do that. So I think I just need to start shooting more and getting them out there so people can see, like, look, you can do this. Yeah. I'll coach you. I'll help you script it. That's a big part too. Like, I can help you write it. I'll help you figure out what to say, because there's nothing scarier.
Because she does that. She's used to that.
There's nothing scarier than someone putting like a video camera in front of you and being like, all right, now talk. Even when you were just helping me make a video here, and it's just 5 takes till I can like say the right thing. It's just, you get,
we have fun now.
Yeah, it's fun, but you get intimidated. It's natural instinct.
It is. Once the camera is just really on you, people are like, what? Some people just freeze up. Even actors, they say they have stage fright, or just speaking, say it's an award season, they win an award and they get up there and I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous.
I know.
It's like you're an actor.
I know.
But
it happens.
They experience it.
It's like as soon as I hit record, it goes away. And I'm like, hold on.
It's like, what was I going to say? Why am I here?
I know. Who am I?
I get it. Anything else that the audience should know about you and your business?
I don't know. I guess we covered most of the things. But if you're somebody that needs better branding photos, if you're somebody that wants to really, stand out online and have custom stuff that not everybody else has, because for example, like a realtor, I work with a lot of realtors. It's like everybody's a realtor. Like the best thing you can do is build up your personal brand. Find like that little, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be like just a little thing that's different about you, that's unique about you. And people will be like, oh, that's the realtor that wears the pink shoes or whatever it is, find your thing and like run with it.
Signature.
So, and I do help people too that really people think they're boring. People are like, nobody cares that I do this. And I'm like, no, that's super interesting. Let's photograph you doing that. And they're like, what? And then they're like, oh my gosh, this was the best idea. So
you have to incorporate those little things in there that they don't think about. And that's where the discovery call comes in to play too. It can. It's like, well, tell me some things about you.
Right. So I'll ask these kind of questions that they're like, oh, I don't need to answer that. I'm like, no, you do, because you're gonna say that one thing that like changes the whole vision, and then it's perfect for you. Yeah.
And are you mobile? well, you know, we are in Richmond, Virginia
Yes,
area.
Yes.
But are you mobile, and how far do you travel out in case, you know, someone sees this and they're...
Look, if you'll buy my plane ticket, I'll be there. You know, typically it's like the DC to Charlottesville to like Virginia Beach, just kind of like the triangle that I'll go to without like charging extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, about 2 hours from here is my minimum.
Okay.
Or maximum, not minimum.
That's good to know. You know, people need to know that because,
Yeah.
you know, they of course you're going to talk about cost.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
they need to know that as well.
Yeah.
Where you're
Yeah.
coming from and
Right.
logistics with that. So,
Yeah, gotta factor in all that
yeah,
time.
that's important.
But yeah, basically, I guess just like service offering recap, it's like, personal branding, which is for entrepreneurs that want to get that image library. Because like when you posted a ton and you're like, or not even a ton, when you just like, I don't have any photos to post. Like if you have a folder with like all these curated images, you just pull it, you use it, like your day's done, you're happy. You could use it in all your marketing materials. And then I guess small to medium-sized businesses are kind of like the target for commercial branding sessions where like we'll do headshots, we'll also do whatever you want. Like we do a lot of like staged meetings or like staged like, you know, whatever you do at work, and we'll photograph that. And then that's great to put on your website. And then I also do headshot days for companies that up to, I think the most I did was maybe like 200 people. And we'll just, you know, I'll do on location. So like I'll show up to their space, I'll find, you know, a pretty window where I'll bring a backdrop, and we'll just do everybody all day, sometimes 2 days.
We're going to find a way to incorporate me into that.
I don't know how, but yeah, they could use you for sure. And then the studio we're in right now, I'm now doing monthly quick headshot days for people that really just need a quick headshot. Like they just need to come in, they just need a thing for LinkedIn or whatever, and we'll do that. Because I was kind of doing those like here and there, and so I've decided to just condense that down to once a month, and if you need it, you can come get it.
Yeah.
And video, branding video if you need that.
Video.
I'm looking for some people that want to do this video. So
Yeah. I mean, again, video is not, like you said, video is not going anywhere. And if you have an opportunity to work with a professional who really knows what they're doing,
Yeah.
why not seize the opportunity?
Yep.
Well, this is great.
Yeah.
And we're almost at an hour.
I know.
See?
I cannot believe it. I cannot. I was like,
I told
there's no way I could
I
talk
told
for
you,
more than
it-
5 minutes.
No, I told you. And it's more I could ask, but I know that, you know, you have other things to do. So, and we're at 52 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah, it's definitely good. And
Yeah.
I want to thank my audience too for tuning in to the video. Like I said, I had taken a hiatus, but now I'm back, and you know, I'm just talking to the best in the business, in the industry, in the beauty industry, in the creative space, and in the lifestyle space.
Yeah,
too.
and I love it. I'm glad that you're doing it again because it's just people want to like. People love to like spy on someone's conversation, right? So it's just like, it's always interesting to hear what people are chatting
it's
about.
Like, what are we talking about? What's this all about? And, you know, giving them options too, because, you know, some of my audience may not know about you. I mean, we work together, but, you know,
we have different spheres.
Yeah. So this is another way to give you more exposure too.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm glad we did it.
I'm glad we did it too. I'm glad I talked her into it.
Yeah.
I am.
I know. See, that's another, it's like, you're so hesitant to do certain things, but it's like, I'm always like, just try it, just do it. You're usually glad you did it. Right?
Oh yeah,
so,
absolutely. It's like the 5 minutes that she thought we were going to speak has turned into 53 minutes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say that when we do mini sessions and people are like, they're on the phone, they're like, I don't know. I'm like, just try it. It's fine. And then they're like, I'm so glad I did this. Yeah.
It's like, you'll be okay. It's painless. Because we did something else not that long ago. I did another interview with her. And she was like, but I don't know, I'm not, you know, into the, what did you say, the flashy or fancy shoes. Fancy shoes.
Fancy
I was like, it's fine, it'll be fine. And it was fine, it was painless.
Yeah.
It was painless. Just like this
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good.
So until next time, I'm Anitra Bird again. I'm a personal wardrobe stylist and image consultant. And this is
Tina Thomas, personal branding and headshot photographer with Tina Take My Photo.
We'll see you next time.